FNAF Mpreg. Yeah, that's my opener. So, you all know massively popular video game franchise Five Nights at Freddy's. And, you know, it's got a lot of games made over a short period of time. You know, the latest one, Ruin, came out. It's got the movie. You know, it's on everyone's minds. And everyone, and a lot of fans know there are books. Five Nights at Freddy's books. Fazbear Frights, Tales from the Pizzaplex, and the actual novel series. You know, the Silverites and all that. Yeah. Well, a lot of people have read them. You know, the big nerds, and I am one of those nerds. I've read all of the Fazbear Frights and nearly all the Tales from the Pizzaplex. I haven't read like one of them because there's not an audiobook of it out anywhere, and I can't find the book. But you want to know something? Most of them aren't very good. That's takeaway number one. They're just weird. Takeaway number two is that Tales from the Pizzaplex is so bad. Tales from the Pizzaplex is so much worse than Fazbear Frights, and it's like ridiculous how much worse it is. And I'm gonna talk about them. This is not a structured video. I was gonna do a tier list, but now I was like, I don't want to do that. And if I try to put effort into a video, then I'll put like a bunch of time into trying to make it, and then I'll get bored and I'll stop, and then the video will never get made. So I'm just going to randomly talk about Five Nights at Freddy's books, just at you, and you're going to have to deal with it. And I'm just kind of walking around in the middle of the woods. I have no clue how the audio quality is, but you know, it works. Anyway, you know, I opened the video with the smash cut of FNAF Mpreg. Yeah, that's a real Five Nights at Freddy's story. It's a Fazbear Fright story. I don't remember the name, but it's a classic, okay? This guy, he's a video game programmer. His name is Matt. I don't know what Scott's trying to tell us, but he programs a game, and in the game, you have to escape from Springtrap, and he gets really mad at it because he can't beat the AI that he programmed. And then over the course of the story, he starts feeling really bloated, and at the end, he gives birth to Springtrap via C-section. Like, he cuts open his stomach, and a little Springtrap crawls out and calls him Daddy, and then he dies. So I don't know what the fuck Scott was on with that one, but sure. I mean, that's a classic story, okay? But, you know, I'm just bringing it up because that's an insane, ridiculous thing. You have no fucking clue what the hell I just said. And that's what makes Fazbear Frights good. You have no fucking clue what the hell is going on at any point. Here's another one. Kids at Play. It's about a guy who's driving his car, and it's really late, and he's driving, he sees something that's like low down, he hits it, knocks it off the side of the road, and he's like, oh shit, I hit a kid. And then he just drives away, and he's like, oh fuck, he's guilty, and he starts seeing this sign that he saw earlier, Kids at Play. It keeps on haunting him, he keeps seeing it in his periphery, he sees it in cereal books, and then he starts feeling his body like jerking against his will, and he starts walking back to the place where he hit the thing, and then he turns into the sign. He turns into the Kids at Play sign. He turns into a Kids at Play sign. The end of this book is him turning into a sign. That's the horror. He turns into a fucking sign. Funniest shit I've ever seen. What the fuck is this story? And these stories are great. And it's like boring. You know, it's really long. I think a good one. Welcome Home, I think is the name of the story. Something like that. It's really good. And like, you know, I'm going to find out what the name of it is and tell you about it. And tell you to go find an audiobook of it. Or find the book and read it. Because it's good. At least I remember it being good. I kind of read it like a couple of years ago. But I remember it being good. And maybe it was only good because I read a bunch of shit ones before. But, Coming Home. Coming Home is the name of the story. I don't remember which book it is in, but you can look it up. Look it up. I'm gonna give you leave the video. You know, shut down. Probably don't come back. Alright, are you back? Let's start the plot. Plot is, it's from the perspective of this girl who's like having like trouble with her like sister, and her sister's being like really distant to her, and then like it's revealed by a split perspective. It switches perspectives to the sister, and it's like, my sister got murdered a couple of years, like a month ago, and it's like, oh shit, the first girl is a ghost, and then she's actually the ghost that's possessing Chica, and then every night, because the girl wants to interact with her sister, Chica comes to the house and is hanging around, and then it's then it's like revealed that the reason her spirit is kind of lost is because the last thing she did before getting abducted was her sister stole her doll because she was being annoying and hid it, so she keeps on looking for that doll. And then in like the finale of the like story, like Chica's like attacking the house and like trying to get her, and she's kind of like lost control of it. And then the story ends with the sister finding the doll and bringing it back to her, and then she sees the ghost of her sister, and they walk away with Chica. The sister walks with Chica, the one who's dead. And like, it's really good. It's like emotionally poignant. It's like well written, and like the ending is like, it's like proper horror. It's like scary because you don't know whether this kid's gonna be okay. Because in FNAF Frights, like 40% of the time, the stories have a happy ending, and you cannot tell which ones are gonna have a happy ending. Sometimes the main character is an asshole and they survive. Sometimes they're such a good person and they get a horrible ending. So it's like proper horror because you don't know what's going to happen to them. You're genuinely concerned if they're a good person. They might just die. That story could have ended with Chica killing the sister and like just like some sad shit happening. And like, it would have been a good story still. But like, it's good. It's well written. And now that I've like explained 3 random FNAF Fright stories, I don't turn around and look at Tales from the Pizzaplex. And explain why Tales from the Pizzaplex just does not work. First of all, the setting is too restricting. Every story is set at the Pizzaplex, naturally, because Tales from the Pizzaplex. But like, you don't get weird shit like some guy hits a sign with his car and then turns into a sign, or someone buys some bonnies, some sea bonnies, and then they eat him from within. You don't get shit like that. You just get like, I went into the Tales from the Pizzaplex, VR booth, and then I was trapped in the VR forever. Or I went into the Five Nights at Freddy's FNAF 3 roleplay room, which is like, what the fuck is it's like a roleplay attraction. I have no clue how, that's like profitable, where you just go into the FNAF 3 and one of you dresses up like Springtrap and tries to pretend to kill the others, and it's a real Springtrap shoot suit and you die. Like, they're so boring. And like, there's like a big thing in the Tales from the Pizzaplex where I don't think there was a ghost here. Like, there wasn't an evil spirit. There was nothing supernatural. The robots are just shit. Like, there's one story, something phobia, fear of small spaces, where this guy's testing out this new attraction, where it's like yoga with Valora, and like, where he's testing this new attraction where it's like yoga with Valora, where there's a bunch of tubes and like you crawl through them, like Valora does, because Valora like crawls, it's like a weird like mechanical, it's just a torso that can crawl through pipes, and it's like supposed to be exercise, but the main character gets stuck, and the Valora robot, its job is if someone gets stuck, it'll go over to them and it'll pull them the rest of the way, so help them through. And it grabs him and it shatters his wrist and it drags him through the tubes that are way too small for his body, and he gets brutally dismembered and crushed through the tubes and torn, so his height is, his final length is twice his original height. It's like a gross, messed up body horror story. But like, Valora wasn't possessed, she was just poorly programmed. Like, they didn't program a failsafe into the thing. And I'm like, that wasn't a ghost, that was just capitalism. And like a bunch of the stories like that. Like Haps is one where there's like a vague implication that maybe they were mean to the robot before. Haps is actually basically their identical story. It's like a tube, like a play place, those like really fun play places that we should have in adult sizes. I want one, with like slides and ball pits. And there's a robot called Haps which is dual purpose. It cleans things, and if you're lost, you'll find Haps, and Haps escorts you. He grabs you by the hand and he takes you out, and he has foam fingers. And the main characters, they're like, fuck some shit up, they break the ride, and then they beat the shit out of Haps because they're kind of like jerks. They're like, oh, they're like outcasts and they're sick of being told what to do. So when Haps is like, come with me, they're like, I don't want to come with you, and they kick him, and they tear up his hands, and then underneath his foam hands, he has like razor sharp hands, because like the foam is ripped off. So, you know, when he tries to grab them to escort them out, he like dices them to pieces. And it's like vaguely implied that maybe he was malicious, and like, because they beat him up, he like got revenge by killing them. But also, it's just kind of like, no, he was just broken. That was no ghost. He was just a broken robot. It's like kind of boring. I mean, like, I'm here for the dead animatronics and the weird supernatural. I'm here for the Fazgoo and the spring traps and the bullshit. I don't want just evil robots. The Bobby Dots is just evil robots, and I don't even want to talk about the Bobby Dots. I'm like annoyed at the Bobby Dots. I brought it up, so now I'm going to have to explain the story. The Bobby Dots is a story where this guy moves into a new apartment, and there are animatronic helpers, or they're AI helpers, called the Bobby Dots, and he starts living there, but he's not supposed to because it's a foreclosed apartment. And then, like, every now and then he notices things that are dangerous, like the bathwater is way too high. And then the AI assistants say, okay, it's the original Bobby Dots were actually animatronics, and they got decommissioned because they kept on trying to help, but they weren't good at it, and they kept accidentally killing people. So, like, you know, try to be careful of them. So it looks like it's going to be another story of, oh, this robot was poorly programmed. But then, it turns out that the AI were lying, they're the ones who are trying to kill him, and the original animatronics are trying to save him, and they're just evil. There's no explanation for why they're like that. They're just dicks. They just want to kill him. He's so nice to them at the start of the story too. Like, they fuck things up, and he's nice to them. He gives them names. He like gets attached to them, and they're just evil for no reason. I'm like, why are they evil? Robots shouldn't just be evil. I mean, the mimic is I'm not even talking about the my phone died, and I lost like 5 minutes of footage, and I'm annoyed. So I think I got cut off whilst I was talking about the mimic. So I'm just gonna like put a jump scare at the end of the video and act like the mimic killed me, and that will be the end of the video.